Welcome to episode 2 of the Wild Wes Show. Tonight we're having paranormal researcher Michael Lane with us, and I'm sure he's got some exciting stories to share. But before we get started, we need to thank our sponsor for tonight's show, Hero Clash Collectibles, located at 217 Knight Street in downtown North Wilkesboro. Hero Clash specializes in comic books, new and vintage action figures, and lots of other great items and great prices. So if you're looking to start a collection or to grow your current collection, plus save some money in the process, come on down and give Hero Clash a chance today. Now, it's time for the man with the plan, with the world in his hand, trying to get you to understand he's taking over the land in the north, the south, the east, and the Wild West. Ladies and gentlemen, Wes Eller.
Go. Look, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, buddy. I'll run it off. You look hyped. You look hyped.
You get too tore up out here. That's a good looking shirt. Hey,
look at that.
Look, ladies and gentlemen at home, look at that shirt. Are we selling these things?
We sure are.
Probably about $50.
Well, a little cheaper than that, Wes.
Oh, okay, 40.
Well, if you want to give me 40, that's fine. We're gonna sell them here for $9.99.
$9.99.
At Hero Clash Collectibles for $9.99.
No. Listen, we love you that much. We're going to give you these shirts $9.99. You can go around. You'll be the coolest kid at the party. Look, take it to prom. Take it to every little thing you want to. Take it to the community college dance because you'll be the #1 person there. Look at that. Got that over there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jody, I thank you so much.
All right, buddy.
Listen.
Have a good show.
Hey, man, we're going to have a good one. Listen, guys, thank you so much for the views, the Facebook likes, everything. Thank you for the Twitter. I appreciate it. It's been a good first episode. Listen, we got a great episode tonight. We got paranormal investigator Michael Lane in the house. So, Michael, if you want to come on down.
Wes, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Michael, doing good, man. Doing good. How you doing, see?
All right.
Listen, you guys are going to be in for a treat tonight. I hope, let's say, what's it, security blanket ready? You might want to leave. You're going to lock all the windows. This is going to be a good night. Oh, man. Thank you, Kevin. All right. So, Michael, we got to know. Paranormal investigator.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that life.
Oh, man, you know what? I wait for people to call me that has problems with ghosts.
Okay.
Or demons.
Or like spirits of that sort?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good spirits, bad spirits.
Does any?
All spirits in between. That's right.
Okay, so you probably had many encounters.
Many.
Well, I know you said good but bad. What out of them, like, what was one of your worst experiences like?
One of my worst experiences. Well, you know, when I was, I'm 38 now, but when I was probably 25, 26.
Yes.
Still living in my mama's basement.
There you go.
Only way to go at 25. I was doing some things in my life that I probably shouldn't have been doing.
Okay.
And I created a kind of a doorway.
Okay.
And to let some of these bad spirits in.
Okay.
So I had lived in this basement pretty much all my life, and nothing ever happened there.
So it's just like any other room.
Any other room,
okay.
Man. And then all of a sudden, when I started doing what I was doing, I became addicted to some pretty crazy stuff. Pornography. You know, all men love pornography.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I pretty much became addicted to it. And next thing you know, I kind of opened up a doorway for something to come in, and I started getting visited by demonic spirits every night for about a 6-month period.
That's a long time.
And it started out kind of throwing stuff around the room, dark shadows.
Yeah.
Stuff standing at the foot of my bed, shaking the bed. And then I got to where I wouldn't even sleep with the lights off.
Yeah.
I started turning the lights on. I'd grab my Bible and kind of tuck it in beside me.
I could see why. I mean, all that interaction.
Absolutely. But the night that really got me, that I knew I had to do something about it.
Yeah.
One of my girlfriends, I had a few, left, and she, I would always wait to hear her go out the door, and I heard the door shut. I'd already fell asleep on the bed, man.
Yeah.
And I knew she was gone, but here I am asleep, and then about, I don't know, a couple hours later, 2 or 3 in the morning,
yeah,
I'm getting nudged by something, and I look up, and it's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I was like, I said, what are you doing here? You left about 2 hours ago. And she turned in. It went from being my girlfriend's body.
Okay.
To being like the most demonic, just horrifying looking thing that you could imagine.
Like, was it like how you say demonic? Was it like a stereotypical vision, like the horns with the wings, or?
It looked like a black cloud.
Okay.
Just kind of come out from behind her and just engulfed her. and then turned into like something like you said, just
Okay.
dark.
Yeah.
I don't know so much about the horns, but just grotesque
Okay.
looking face, just
Yeah.
something out of a horror movie, man.
Yeah. Would that be any kind of like retaliate or anything of the sort of like the shadow people some people talk about when they have
No, I wouldn't
Okay.
put that in the same category.
Okay.
Yeah, this was.
something
I
totally
think
different?
shadow people and demonic spirits are two totally different
Okay.
things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But when that happened, I knew I had to do something. So I kind of got right with God.
Okay.
And when I did, things started, going away. And then that's when I said, well, you know what?
Yeah.
If I went through that, surely somebody else will
Oh,
go through
you better believe it.
it. So
Yeah.
that's when I joined with my two brothers, and we came up with Supernatural Research Society.
Okay.
And we started off very small with about $1,000 worth of equipment.
Yeah.
And we worked our way up to become one of the bigger teams in the Piedmont area of North Carolina. And then we started, doing every case that we could get a hold
Yeah.
of. And anything from little kids' spirits to demonic to black shadow people.
Yeah.
Everything in between, man.
Just anything.
Anything that's paranormal out there, even Bigfoot and alien stuff,
There you
all
go.
kinds of stuff.
Hey, he's got you covered. Look, this man's fighting the battles you don't have to fight. You better be thinking about
That's
it.
right.
That is awesome, man. So like, how so you said since you was 25 or
25 or so, yep.
So how long have you been into this?
So that, see, I'm 38 now, so let's see, what is that? That makes it, 13
Yeah.
years or so? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good.
It's a long time,
Yeah,
but you
good
got to
one's in a
study,
bit.
there's a lot of stuff to learn.
Yeah. It's just not like, are you here?
Right. And, I started picking up every book that I could pick up
Yeah.
about the occult, about witches, about spirits, about different kind of religions.
Yeah.
And I started just, filling my hard drive full of that stuff.
Yeah.
Just trying to learn it, And I started figuring out which, kind of cultures believe in certain spirits and when different types of spirits, supposedly attached to you and whatnot. And over the years, I just, I learned a lot of different stuff, and I've used it to help me out with this stuff.
Okay.
Man. So.
Well, that's good having that whole, I'd say like a whole smorgasbord
Right.
of all that
Absolutely.
research. Yeah. 'Cause
I can, if you do me wrong tonight, I can put a spell on you, turn you into a frog.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
But I wouldn't do that, man.
I appreciate that. That's awesome. So, on the investigation you've had, what was one of the most interaction you've had at?
Let's see. So, I will give you a story about a lady named Melinda who called us one night. She said, she called me out of the blue. She said, I seen your card at a local store.
Okay.
She said, I've been dealing with some issues. I've been kind of doing some seances with some witches and Ouija board type stuff. And she said, well, when I get home by myself, when they're gone, and that's just me, she said, I see these demonic figures all around me.
Okay.
She said, they're telling me in my ear when I drive my car to just end my life. Go ahead and just drive it into a tree.
So she's hearing the voice.
Hearing voices, seeing things. So I got a pastor friend of mine who was a part of our team.
Okay.
And we set up the investigation. We went into her house, and she said, come on in, that's, we went in and set up our equipment, and pastor friend of mine, he was like, let's just do a walkthrough and pray and anoint, and do some what we call blessings. We'll go through, start at the back of the house, and we'll bless every windowsill, every door, all the way up to the front, and then we say a prayer, and then kick whatever's in there out, and then bless that front doorway. But we got to the front, and we didn't think there was anything in the house, and then all of a sudden this black shadow darts out in front of us. And our K2 and our mail meters just start going haywire.
Okay.
And so we're coming down the hallway, and the other part of our team's on the front porch, and we kind of meet. And both parties saw that shadow. And it just shot off through the kitchen and disappeared into the wall. So we thought at that point, she's not possessed. It's just something in her home. So we get out on the front porch, and we do a whole blessing of the house. We think we got everything took care of. And we're giving Melinda a hug by and telling her, if you got any problems, call us.
Yeah.
And when the pastor goes to hug Melinda, she looks up. Can I cuss on this show? No.
Well, can I keep it PG-13?
All right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. She looks up at the pastor and she says, "I want to effing kill you."
Wow.
But she says that not in her voice.
Yeah.
She says it in a voice of, I sound like an old man. You know,
Okay.
And she grabbed onto that pastor and wouldn't let him go.
Yeah.
And so what we did was he looked at me, he said, "Michael, we got to get her back in there. And so we coaxed her back in there and got her sat down on her couch. And he grabs his anointing oil and he draws a cross on her forehead, and she just goes absolutely berserk.
Oh man.
And Melinda was no longer Melinda. Melinda was about 3 or 4 different demonic spirits
At one time.
Wow.
Wow.
And they would take turns kind of coming out and talking to us and telling us who they were and why they were there. And then Melinda would be able to break through every once in a while, and she would cry out for help. And then they'd come back across, you can't help her, she's lost.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, when you said it was like 3 or 4, when the demon, would it be a different voice?
Different voice every time in a different language.
Okay. Did she ever like speak in a tongue or a different language?
I don't know. I don't necessarily know that it was speaking in tongue per se, because I for one think that speaking in tongue is something that's from God. Okay. So this was definitely not from God. Okay. But this sounded almost Latin or something of that. You know, it's crazy because she would hit you with something with like a real high pitched voice, like, you know, and then all of a sudden be like a growling voice, and it was, you know, so. And when you get close to her, she'd just kind of convulse. Yeah. And don't you effing touch me, and just, you know, crazy stuff. And all of a sudden, coming out of the woodworks, cockroaches. Whoa. And the pastor had told me before we went into his house, he said, Satan and demonic beings, I'm fresh, I'm new to this at this point. He said they will use whatever forces they can to drive you out when they know that you're there to get rid of them. And when I say cockroaches, man, I'm telling you, hundreds of cockroaches came out from the ceilings, from the floors. They were all over us.
All at one time?
All at one time.
Oh, man.
We were thumping them off of us.
Yeah.
I said, get my equipment out of here. Yeah. I made them move my equipment outside. And she was like, you know, my wife and everybody was, let's just leave. I'm like, no, I'm not leaving. We're here now. We're going to help this lady. And so we're talking to Melinda. She's like, you know, there's stuff here in my house, and she's letting us hear, you know, this is before we actually get her set down, you know, and you know, previously she's like, there's stuff here, I got recordings and stuff, and it's crazy. She's got growling coming from a certain room, and you know, while, you know, as we got her sit down and kind of relax on the couch, we start hearing stuff out of this room, and me and the pastor get up and walk back there, and he says, you sure you want to come in? I said, yeah, I'm here for the long haul. So he walks in this room. Now we're sitting here in the dead of night. Okay. And a hot summer night. This is in July. I'm talking about 95 degrees. We walk into this room and it feels like it's 40 degrees. Oh man. We breathing smoke, and something comes out of blue and just clocks me upside of my head and pretty much drops me to my knees. Oh man. And my wife's trying to get me to leave. I got this little cross necklace on. I grab it and I start praying. I'm like, Lord, help me, be with me, help me to get through this. And I said, all right, we're in for a battle tonight, pretty much. And we go back in and we sit back down with Melinda, and the power goes out. I was like, is this normal? No, that's definitely not normal. Everybody else in the neighborhood has power.
Wow, okay. So you know something's up.
Yeah, her power just goes out. And so we're sitting here in the dark. Roaches crawling on us. Melinda over here just spitting at us and you know, convulsing. Yeah. And he breaks into like a full-on, what I call deliverance or exorcism. Okay. And it takes a while, man, but he does all this different prayer and anointing, and Melinda and these demonic beings are kind of having an inner battle with each other. Yeah. And at the same time, we're all just sitting there, just jaws on the floor, because we're watching like an episode of The Exorcist in real life. Yeah. And eventually he gets her to lean over, and she starts throwing up. And he said, it's coming out. And he said, get up and open the door. And you know, we had our mail meters and our K2s lined up across the table. And I take my video camera and point down. You can see roaches crawling all over. Oh man. And the lights just buzzing. I mean, I'm talking about maxed out buzzing. He said, open that door. And so I jumped over and I opened up the door. And she just starts convulsing and spitting up. And he says, it's coming out, it's coming out. And she throws her hair in front of her head, and she lets this, unbelievable sound come out of her.
Yeah.
And then it was gone. And it passed us, and you could feel it pass us.
Like
a force.
Go.
And it went out that front door, and he jumped up, and he slammed the door, and he anointed that doorway, and he said, you know, he prayed with Melinda, and he said, Melinda kind of flips her hair back, and she's like, who are y'all? Why are y'all here? She is at this point, she didn't even know. And I said, you don't remember calling? She's like, I think I do, but I really don't. And then she said, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. She said, I feel like I've been hit in a fight or something. And we were like, you were in a fight.
Yeah,
sure.
you got that right.
But Melinda ended up giving her life to the Lord that night.
There we go.
And being saved, and she calls me still to this day, and she says, "Thank you, Michael, for saving my life." And I always tell Melinda, it was God that saved your life. He just used us.
There you go.
But
now, go ahead.
No, go. Yeah.
I was gonna say, since you still talk to her, has she had any other encounters since then?
There was a few times when she thought her life kind of got off track.
Yeah. And
she called us out, and she thought maybe she was letting some stuff back in. But we went out and sat with her and prayed with her and assured her, that as long as I'm a firm believer, as long as you're a child of God, that stuff can't touch you, man.
Gotcha.
So, but to this day, she's doing really well, man.
That's good.
So, yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, after that great story, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have more of Michael Lane and his great times.
At Hero Clash Collectible, we offer a wide variety of items, including comics, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering cards, plus a great selection of action figures. Every Wednesday, new comics arrive, so come on out to 217 9th Street in historic downtown of Wilkesboro today. Or give us a call at 336-818-1880 to start your comic subscription and save up to 15% off cover prices.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with our special guest here, paranormal investigator Michael Lane. Whew, I got to ask you.
Good to be here.
Thank you. Got to ask you, though. We got to know. Was that the scariest place you ever been, or have you been somewhere scarier?
That place was scary, but I have been scarier.
No way. I mean, I'm having goosebumps, guys. I mean, well, go ahead.
Well, there's where I used to live in Lexington, North Carolina. There was an old abandoned nursing home.
Okay.
And it was right off the highway. And it closed down around 1999, 2000.
Okay.
And just went to rot after that. And we started going up there to use it for like a training ground for our investigations.
Yeah.
Not even knowing that it was really haunted. But when we got there, we figured out this place was not just a little haunted, it was very haunted. And it just had long halls. If you can just picture something like on the TV or a movie, just long dark halls with doorways, not knowing what's coming out of every doorway. And we would hear yells and voices and things slamming, and that to me was scary because no power, no electricity. It's just you and the dark place that was this nursing home. And we could be sitting there sometimes and just hear an old woman or something just whisper in your ear. And it'd freak you out because you're sitting here, kind of watching the environment around you, but yet here's somebody right beside you whispering in your ear. That was probably the scariest place for me, though. Absolutely.
I feel like, to me, like going to nursing homes today, they just how the environment is, it does freak me because with my anxieties and everything, it does freak me. So I could just totally imagine just being there and just, like you probably had a team with you at that time.
Yeah, we had a team, and
you probably you have your team, but you still feel like there's more people.
Right.
There.
One of the things we do as a team is we would split up.
Yeah.
And we would go one-on-one in different rooms, and just try to see what we could have happen to us in a one-on-one situation, just you and the environment around you. And a lot of times that's when stuff would really kick up. Yeah. It's like, okay, we got somebody in here, and they would mess with you, man. And the thing about this place, it was, come to find out later on, doing research, there was a male nurse that was there that was really cruel to the people that were, patients there. And he did some really bad things to those people. And we took a psychic in with us one night.
Okay.
And she said, she walked out into the woods and she said, there is a body. And I don't know how true this is, but this is what she told us.
Okay.
She said, there is a body in these woods of a patient who was neglected and got away from here, and they never found them, but they're in these woods right now.
Huh.
And and the psychic friend of mine, she's really good, man. You know, she hit stuff spot on, but she told us, and we did a crossover. We took her back to that place, and she said, if you want to do a crossover, we're going to be here for a while because this place is full of spirits.
Wow.
People that male nurse had done really bad things to, and they were just kind of stuck there, you know.
Terrible.
Cool place, but very scary.
I feel you. Now listen, I've heard that you've also been to another scary place.
What's that?
I heard you've been in the wrestling ring.
I have, man.
I hear you.
Believe it or not, when I was in high school, that was the heydays of kind of Nitro versus Raw.
Yeah.
You know, the Monday Night Wars.
Exactly.
And I was at that ripe old age of 16, 17, and that's what my dream was, to be a wrestler.
There you
Of
go.
course, I had watched it on up before then.
Yeah.
And my grandfather happened to be friends with a local wrestler in town,
Yeah.
the Beastmaster Rick Link.
Huh.
He was a hardcore, just knife to the forehead type guy.
The old school
Yeah,
style.
old school. He called the Beastmaster for me. He said, hey, my grandson wants to train. Beastmaster cut me a deal, got me in, let me train with him and Manny, the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez.
There you go.
And I went to Charlotte, trained in a barn, of all places. They put me in a barn. I'm thinking we're going to go into this nice gymnasium.
They're going to take us to the WCW power plant.
Exactly. I pull up to this barn. It's got one light bulb hanging from the ceiling. Barely see. Manny's in there training everybody. And I'm like, okay. All right, man, we'll see what happens. We trained like heck that first night. I didn't know if I wanted to go back the next night. And at the end of that night, some guy sitting at the door taking up money for Manny Fernandez. He said, hey, man, Manny's living in his car.
Oh, man.
I said, dude, what? This dude, I just paid $1,000 to train. Who got that money, you know? But here Manny is living in his car, and they're taking up money for him on my first night of training.
Oh, man.
But it was heck, dude. You know, I trained for a while. I got into a few little matches and ended up hurting my back. And at that time, I was young, didn't have any insurance, never really even had a job.
Yeah.
And so I decided to stop doing it because I didn't think I could, with the way my back was at the time, I didn't think I could do it anymore. But yeah, it's
very demanding on the body. Yeah.
It really is, man. Absolutely.
Any crazy story like during the wrestling day you had, or?
You've seen guys, older guys especially, ring veterans that would get in the ring with some of us rookies or younger guys, and if you got over on them or if the crowd was really getting over on them, these older guys didn't like that too much, man, because you know, they still thought that they were the draw.
Yeah.
We were playing, you know, we're talking about matches in like high school gymnasiums and VFWs.
Or indie scene feel.
Yeah. So, but the guys still hung on to that gimmick and that life that they had. And if you got over on them, they would put a hurting on you, man.
Yeah.
They might put you in a figure four, but really attach some pressure or put you in an arm bar and really
That'd be some
mess you
rough
up.
stuff.
So, yeah, it's way more serious to those guys.
Yeah.
They're trying to make a living still.
Yeah, they don't want to lose their spot.
Right. Absolutely.
I feel you on that.
But crazy stuff goes on in wrestling business, and I would say the one thing that most people think is the trampoline with ropes tied to it. No. Definitely not a trampoline, and those aren't ropes. Those are wires.
Yeah.
Steel wires, and they hurt like heck.
It's the real deal.
Yes, it is, man.
Well, I gotta know. Well, with this experience, have you ever wrestled a ghost or spirit?
I wouldn't say wrestled one, but one reached inside of me one night.
Oh man.
And grabbed a hold of my lungs. I could feel this spirit literally go inside of my body and grab my lungs and squeeze them. And it just took every bit of air out of me. And I had some, my team with me that night. And they all had to kind of stand over me and help me get my wind back and do some, just help this spirit kind of loosen up off of me, because it was, whatever had me that night really had a hold on me.
Oh man.
It wasn't me, it was wrestling me. It was manhandling me.
Well, I mean, you're a big guy, so that's definitely some stuff. Well, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to take another commercial break, and what we'll do is we're going to have some of Michael Lane's, we're going to have him bring out some of his equipment that he uses on his researches. We'll have it displayed for you. It'll be good. Stay tuned.
At Hero Clash Collectible, we offer a wide variety of items, including comics, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering cards, plus a great selection of action figures. Every Wednesday, new comics arrive, so come on out to 217 9th Street in historic downtown of Wilkesboro today. Or give us a call at 336-818-1880 to start your comic subscription and save up to 15% off cover prices.
Welcome back. I'm still here with paranormal investigator Michael Lane. Listen, you want to go ahead and shout out to your paranormal group? And
Yeah, man.
You got any social media you want to give a shout out
Of course. So you can check us out on Facebook. Just search the page Supernatural Research Society.
to? Okay.
You'll see our black and gray logo, SRS.
Okay.
We also have a website, srsocietync.webs.com. And, we're on Twitter as SR Society as well. And look us up. If you got any cases or anything that's bothering you, give us a call. We'll help you out. Absolutely.
What a deal. Now, I see you got some of your equipment here. Now, this is what you've actually used on your investigation.
Yes.
All right. Will you show the people at home, show me what is this stuff?
So, probably the most important tool to take on a investigation, as far as I'm concerned, is a voice recorder.
Okay.
We've got cheaper ones, kind of like your little Sonys, and then we have more expensive ones,
Okay.
about $150 ones.
That's like your bad boy right there.
Bad boy.
Okay.
However, I've caught more stuff on these cheap ones than I ever have on the expensive ones. So,
Hey.
they all work.
Yeah.
If you've got one of those, you can and you're at a place where you know there's spirit activity, you can always catch a good EVP. These are K2 meters.
Okay.
If you flip that on, it lights up, and the more it lights up, that gives you, supposedly the theory is the more it lights up, there may be a spirit
Gotcha.
close by, and it's emitting electromagnetic fields.
Gotcha.
Usually, people think that spirits emit electromagnetic fields, which is what K2 meters and mil meters measure.
Gotcha.
Now the K2 is just a simple meter. It lights up. We can set it in the floor. We can say, if there's a spirit, see something's making it go off right now, which they're very sensitive. If anything in here has got any kind of electricity or anything to it, it'll make it go off.
I was getting nervous, folks.
Now we can set those in the floor or in a room and say, all right, if there's somebody here, come close to there. Help us light that up. And a lot of times we'll get somebody or something to help us light it up and we can have a full-on conversation. We can say, all right, if this is you, light it up for us.
Yeah.
And it'll light it up. Now, my favorite tool, though, is the mil meter.
Okay.
And this has got a K2 built in, basically. And when you turn these on, it gives you the room temperature.
Okay.
It gives you the EMF reading.
Okay.
And then on the back, it's got a switch, and it has a light up sensor, basically for like a K2. So if anybody comes close to this, it'll light up and let you know as well. So it's 3 tools in one.
Oh, what a deal.
So they're a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it.
Hey, you got everything you need right there.
That's right.
Right.
Then you have what we call a spirit box.
Okay.
Now this right here, we would turn this on, and it would actually go through different radio channels really quick, and kind of, it's almost like a staticky sound,
It's
but
like,
just right.
Okay.
Kind of, and
Yeah.
But the theory is that spirits can speak through that static,
Okay.
and kind of give you answers to questions and things. So, and then the most basic of all, just a good old school compass.
Okay.
Now,
Yes.
if you're somewhere and your compass is supposed to be reading north or south
Yeah.
or east or west, but yet it's going crazy and spinning around, 9 times out of 10, what I've seen from doing this is there's usually some spirit activity going on.
Yeah.
Because if there's a spirit present, that compass will go crazy.
I say so.
So there's that one. I'll bring out another one to show you a few more things.
Folks, I hope you're enjoying as much as I am.
All right. Now this right here, this is what we call a power grid.
Yeah.
And when we turn this on, you can kind of see it now, but if you're in a dark room, it just basically gives you a grid. And if a spirit or a shadow walks by this grid,
Yeah.
you can pretty much see
Let's
the
see.
outline.
Let's see if that brings up on that.
See how that is?
Okay.
And if you see it,
Yeah.
you can. We've seen just full body apparitions kind of walk by that grid before.
Oh man, that would get me.
And then we've got this right here, which is a device that if it makes any kind of vibration or anything, like coming down the steps or a hallway, a lot of stories we get, I hear footsteps coming down a hallway every night. So we can set that down that hallway and set a camera on it. And if those footsteps come down the hallway, well, that's going to let that light up because it's going to pick up that vibration.
All right.
And so that helps us gain evidence as well. And then these are just old school temperature thermometers.
Yeah.
You know, the theory is if there's a ghost around, the temperature drops.
Yeah.
And you got your digital camera, which you can catch some cool stuff with. And I like to take an old 35 millimeter camera as well, because sometimes they can catch things that even the digital cameras can't. That's why I take this old school 35 millimeter.
Oh, mate.
And then, of course, lots of batteries.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've heard how much time people. I mean, they'll
Yeah.
say they'll have like fresh batteries and then all of a sudden they'll go and it just drains it.
Happens all the time.
Wow.
You can be in the middle of a place that truly has some great spirit activity there, and once that that spirit activity starts kind of acting up, you can see your battery power just being drained slowly, and it just before you know it, it's gone, every bit of it. So I take lots of batteries with me.
I don't blame you.
And then these right here are motion sensors.
Okay.
And we can set these up down hallways or down around corners or whatever. And if anything passes through the two beams, it sets it off and it lets us know that something, we'll go run into that area and check it out.
All right.
That's just a small sample of what I got.
Yeah.
Of course, we have the tons of the handheld cameras with the night vision and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then we have the full-on CCTV, where you set up cameras and somebody can kind of sit at a home base and watch
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
As we're
Yeah.
out. So, and there's a lot of money that goes into it,
Yeah.
and there's not much money made in it.
Yeah.
But the main thing I'm trying to do is help people.
Yeah, you're putting out a good service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And we
that's
don't
awesome.
we don't charge for any of our investigations. We take donations. If you say, if we have to travel 3 hours to see you, if you want to give me some gas money, I'll take it from you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to charge you to investigate. I'm not going to charge you to help you because that's what we're here for. So
That's awesome.
we love what we do, man.
That's the main thing. Well, Michael, I want to thank you so much for coming on the Wild Wes
Thank
Show.
you, man.
Hey, you want to go ahead and plug your research team one more time?
Absolutely. Supernatural Research Society. And you can check us out on Facebook and our websites, SR Society NC at srsocietyNC.webs.com.
I'll definitely be checking it out. Well, Michael, I want to thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
so much.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us in for another episode of the Wild West. Please like and subscribe, and thank you just so much for everything that you do. I hope you enjoy, and you all have a good night.